My boss called a meeting to announce my replacement. My husband's girlfriend took my job, a position I had held for 8 years. She had 0 experience. My boss said, "We need fresh energy." Everyone avoided my eyes. I stood up, congratulated her, shook her hand, and walked out. 1 hour later, my phone wouldn't stop ringing. Those 4 words ended 8 years of my life, and Mark said them like he was commenting on the weather. We need fresh energy. I was sitting in the main conference room, surrounded by 200 CloudSync employees, watching my boss explain why I was being replaced by a woman who posted smoothie recipes on Instagram. He didn't say my name. He didn't look at me. He talked about evolution, next-generation thinking, and authentic brand building while I sat there trying to remember how to breathe. Before we continue, thank you so much for being here. We're almost at 100,000 subscribers, and I'm incredibly grateful for every single one of you. If you haven't subscribed, please join our growing family. It's free and truly means everything. Now let's see what happened next. The woman sitting next to him smiled. Her name was Amber. She smiled like she'd just won a prize. She probably thought she had a new title, a good salary, and the corner office that used to be mine. She had no idea she was also sleeping with my husband. Or maybe she did. Maybe that was part of the deal. Amber brings a perspective we haven't had before, Mark said, gesturing toward her like she was a product he was unveiling. She understands how to build authentic connections with audiences in ways that traditional marketing strategies just can't anymore. Traditional marketing strategies. That's what my work was now. Traditional, outdated, disposable. I had built CloudSync's entire brand from scratch. I wrote every press release, designed every campaign, built every media relationship that put this company on the map. When CloudSync was 10 people sitting at folding tables, I was there. When we couldn't afford real marketing software, I was there. When we landed our first major client, I wrote the pitch that closed the deal. 8 years. I gave this company 8 years. And Mark erased all of it in one meeting with catered sandwiches and bottled water. We're restructuring to optimize for growth, Mark said. Then he finally looked at me. The pity in his eyes made me want to throw something. Vanessa has been foundational to CloudSync's success, he said. We're grateful for everything she's built. She'll be transitioning to new opportunities. New opportunities. He made it sound like a gift, like firing me in front of everyone was doing me a favor. Amber stood up to speak. I'm just so honored, she said, her voice soft and breathy. I really believe authentic storytelling is about connecting with people's energy. I can't wait to bring my vision to CloudSync's brand. My vision, my brand. The one I built while she was probably still learning how to use Instagram filters. I looked around the room. Jordan from my team wouldn't meet my eyes. Priya stared at her lap. Elena, my assistant, had tears streaming down her face but didn't make a sound. The rest of my department sat frozen, like moving would make them guilty. Others were nodding, smiling. A few were clapping. Mostly younger employees. The ones who thought fresh energy mattered more than results. My phone buzzed in my pocket. Then again, and again. I checked the screen. 23 missed calls. Texts from journalists asking what was happening. Screenshots of an Instagram post Amber had made that morning, announcing her new role before I even knew I was losing mine. In the photo, I was in the background. Blurry, but visible. My face showed everything. Shock, betrayal, pain. She posted it anyway. She turned my worst moment into content. Mark kept talking. We'll have transition meetings this week, he said. Vanessa will be training Amber on current campaigns and client relationships. Training her. They wanted me to train my replacement. The woman sleeping with my husband. The woman who took my job. They wanted me to smile and hand over 8 years of work like it meant nothing. We ask everyone to welcome Amber and support her during this transition, Mark said. This is an exciting evolution for CloudSync. Evolution. Evolution means something has to die so something new can grow. I was the thing that needed to die. Amber answered questions. Someone asked about her background. She talked about community, engagement, her Instagram following. She mentioned her follower count like it was a qualification. 200,000 followers. I had relationships that reached 200 million readers. Campaigns that generated real revenue. 8 years of measurable results. But I didn't have fresh energy. People clapped again. Amber smiled wider, holding her phone, probably planning her next post. Mark looked relieved. No one looked at me anymore. I was already gone. I thought about standing up, walking out, but something stopped me. Pride, shock, or the stupid hope this was a nightmare. Then I saw him, standing near the door in the back of the room. David, my husband. He was here. Our eyes met for half a second. Then he looked away, and I understood. He wasn't here for me. He was here for her. I needed to understand how I got here, how I missed every sign. That morning felt like another lifetime. I'd walked into CloudSync at 7:30, coffee in hand, laptop bag over my shoulder, like I had every day for 8 years. The badge reader beeped green. Kesha waved from reception. Everything felt normal, except it wasn't. I noticed small things over the past month, but I ignored them. Mark avoiding eye contact. Budget requests delayed. Younger employees going quiet when I entered rooms. My team walking on eggshells. I told myself it was normal. Startups grow. Things change. But this felt different. That morning, I walked past the conference room where I pitched our first major client 5 years ago. Back then, we had 10 employees and IKEA furniture. Now we had 3 floors and 200 people. I was part of every step. I created the campaigns that attracted investors, built the relationships that got us into TechCrunch and Forbes, shaped the messaging that made CloudSync a real brand. The hallway wall displayed all of it: press coverage, awards, conference badges. I walked past it every day feeling proud. I didn't know Mark had already decided none of it mattered. I stopped at Jordan's desk. He was one of my best hires. A junior copywriter I believed in when no one else did. Now he led our content team. "Morning," I said. "Ready for the all-hands meeting?" Elena, my assistant, was waiting at my office door when I arrived. She had worked with me for 4 years. I knew her kids' names, her husband's job, her mother's health issues. We had celebrated promotions and survived crises together. She was more than an assistant. She was family. "Morning," I said as I unlocked my office. "What's on the agenda today?" She hesitated for a moment. "The all-hands meeting at noon. Mark wants everyone there." "Do you know what it's about?" Another pause. "He said it's important company news." I assumed it was the Series C funding announcement. We had been working toward it for months. I had built the entire investor deck, spent weeks perfecting every slide, every message, every data point. It felt like the natural reward for all that work. I was wrong. At 11:30, I gathered my things and walked toward the main conference room. The hallway was full of people heading the same way, but no one was talking. Usually there was excitement before these meetings. Guesses about what Mark would announce, jokes about how long he'd talk, casual conversations. That day, there was silence. When I passed people, they looked away. I took my usual seat, 3rd row center, and pulled out my phone while waiting for the meeting to start. That's when I saw the notifications. 23 missed calls. 47 text messages. All from the past hour. Rachel Chin, the tech journalist I'd worked with for 5 years. "Vanessa, what is happening? Is this real?" Jennifer Wu, a marketing director at a competing company. "Call me. Something's wrong." Tim Rodriguez from our PR firm. "We need to talk SAP." My heart started racing. I opened the next message. It was a screenshot. An Instagram post from someone named Amber Hayes, posted an hour earlier. The photo showed a young woman standing in CloudSync's lobby, holding her phone up for a selfie. She was smiling wide. The caption read, "New role alert. Chief Brand Officer at CloudSync. When you believe in yourself, the universe delivers." Chief Brand Officer. My role. My company. My lobby. And in the background of the photo, slightly out of focus, was me, walking past, my face visible for just a moment, showing confusion and pain I didn't even know I was feeling yet. She had posted my humiliation before I had lived it. Then Mark walked in with Amber beside him, and my entire world began to fall apart in real time. The meeting ended. Mark thanked everyone for their flexibility during the transition. People stood up, gathered their things, and moved toward the catered lunch like nothing had happened. I stayed seated. My team hovered nearby, unsure what to say. Elena touched my shoulder. "Vanessa!" I stood up. My legs shook, but they held. I walked to the front of the room where Amber was talking to Mark, laughing easily in a space I had built. "Congratulations," I said. My voice was calm, steady. Amber looked surprised. Up close, she looked even younger. Mid-20s maybe, barely old enough to understand what a career really costs. "Oh, thank you," she said, holding out her hand. I shook it. Her grip was weak. "I'm really excited to learn from everything you've built. Learn from everything I'd built while taking everything I'd built." "I'm sure you'll do great," I said. The lie tasted like metal. I turned to Mark. "I'll get my things." I walked out of the conference room, down the hallway, past my office with my name still on the door, past the wall of press coverage I had earned, past the break room where I stayed until midnight designing our original logo. The same logo now plastered across Amber's Instagram. I passed Kesha at reception. She was crying quietly into her hands. I walked through the lobby, pushed open the glass doors, crossed the parking garage, and got into my car. I started the engine. My hands were shaking. I drove 3 miles to a coffee shop I'd never been to before, parked in the far corner of the lot, turned off my phone, and sat in silence while my life fell apart. I didn't cry. Couldn't. The shock was too deep. I stared at the dashboard, trying to understand what had just happened. 8 years. Early mornings. Late nights. Weekends spent fixing campaigns. Holidays handling crises. Birthdays celebrated at my desk. Family dinners cut short. Date nights canceled. I gave CloudSync everything. They replaced me with an Instagram influencer who posted smoothie recipes and motivational quotes. "Fresh energy," Mark had said. I built the foundation. But foundations aren't exciting. They wanted something shiny. Someone young. Someone who made them feel innovative. And apparently someone young enough to sleep with my husband. After an hour, I turned my phone back on. The notifications exploded. 53 missed calls. 72 text messages. Emails flooding in. Everyone asked the same thing. What happened? I didn't have an answer. 1 hour ago, I had a career I'd built over 8 years. A reputation earned through results. A team that depended on me. A company that wouldn't exist in its current form without my work. Now I had nothing. And somehow I was the last to know. I turned my phone on because I had to. Sitting in silence wasn't helping. I needed answers. 89 notifications now. The number kept climbing. I opened Rachel Chin's message. "I'm trying to verify this before I write anything. Can you call me? This doesn't make sense." Jennifer Wu had sent 3 messages. "Where are you? Are you okay? I have screenshots if you need them. Tim from the PR firm. The board is going to hear about this. This is a disaster." I kept scrolling. Former colleagues shocked. Industry contacts confused. People I barely knew offering sympathy that felt like curiosity. Then I saw messages from my team. "Jordan, I'm so sorry. I wanted to tell you. Priya, this isn't right. None of us agree with this. Elena, please tell me you're okay." They had known. My own team had known I was being fired and still sat in meetings with me. Smiled. Took my feedback. Let me believe I had a future. How long had they known? A week? 2? Had they debated warning me, or accepted it like bad weather? My hands shook. I set the phone down and pressed my palms against my eyes until I saw spots. Through the coffee shop window, I watched people order drinks, type on laptops, laugh. Their lives were intact. Mine had just collapsed. And they had no idea. I picked up my phone again and opened Instagram. I searched for Amber Hayes. Her profile loaded. 201,000 followers now. She'd gained another 1,000 since this morning. Her bio read, "Lifestyle creator. Chief Brand Officer at CloudSync. Manifesting Abundance. DM for collabs. She had already claimed the title. Already turned my job into content. I scrolled. Smoothie bowls. Workout selfies. Sunsets with cursive quotes. You are the CEO of your own life. Your vibe attracts your tribe. Nothing about strategy. Nothing about metrics. Nothing about results. Then I saw it. A post from 6 months ago. Amber smiling at a restaurant. And in the background, slightly blurred but unmistakable, was David. My husband. They had been together at least 6 months. I zoomed in. He was wearing the shirt I bought him for his birthday. The one he rarely wore. He wore it for her. The caption read, "Best dinner conversations with the best company." Sometimes the universe puts exactly the right people in your path. The comments were full of praise. No one asked who the man was. No one asked if he was married. I went back to her post from this morning. Her smiling in my company's lobby. Me in the background. Blurry. Visible. Breaking. She turned my worst moment into engagement. The post had thousands of likes now. Hundreds of comments. Most people celebrated her. One comment stopped me cold. "That's Vanessa Mitchell. That's Vanessa Mitchell." I stared at the comment like it was glowing. A few replies followed. Who? The old marketing head? Wait, did someone get fired for this? This feels messy. Amber hadn't replied. She didn't delete the comment either. She let it sit there, buried under praise and emojis, like it didn't matter. I closed Instagram. I couldn't look anymore. My hands were numb. My chest felt tight, like the air wasn't reaching all the way in. I sat in my car and tried to breathe slowly, the way a therapist once taught me during a panic attack years ago. In through the nose, out through the mouth. It didn't help. My phone buzzed again. A call this time. David. I stared at his name on the screen. My husband. 8 years together. The same length of time I'd given CloudSync. I didn't answer. It rang again. Then again. Finally, it stopped. A text came through. "Vanessa, please call me. We need to talk. We need to talk." The words felt absurd. Like this was a misunderstanding. Like there was something left to explain. There wasn't. I leaned my head back against the seat and closed my eyes. Memories came anyway. Not of Amber. Not of Mark. Of David. The way he'd hugged me goodbye on mornings when I left early. The way he complained about how much I worked but said he was proud of me. The nights I came home exhausted and he already had dinner waiting. Or so I thought. How many of those nights had he been texting her? How many late meetings of mine had been convenient cover? I opened my eyes and looked at the coffee shop again. A couple sat near the window, sharing a muffin, laughing quietly. A woman pushed a stroller past the door. Normal life. I felt like I was watching it from underwater. My phone buzzed again. This time it was Mark. I almost laughed. I didn't answer. Another text followed. "Vanessa, let's connect later today to discuss next steps and ensure a smooth transition." A smooth transition. I deleted the message. Then another notification appeared. Email this time. From HR. Subject line. Transition details. I didn't open it. Couldn't. Instead, I scrolled to a contact I hadn't spoken to in a long time. My sister. I pressed call. She answered on the second ring. "Hey Van. Everything okay?" And just like that, my voice broke. "I got fired," I said. Silence. Then, "What?" "They replaced me," I continued. "With my husband's girlfriend." Another pause. Sharper this time. "What do you mean your husband's girlfriend?" "I mean," I said slowly, "the woman Mark hired is sleeping with David." She swore under her breath. Then, "Where are you?" "In my car." "Don't drive," she said immediately. "Stay where you are." "I'm coming." I didn't argue. After we hung up, I finally cried. It wasn't dramatic. No sobbing. Just tears spilling silently while my shoulders shook. Everything I'd been holding in all day finally broke through. By the time my sister arrived, my eyes were swollen and my head hurt. She got into the passenger seat without saying a word and handed me a tissue. We sat like that for a while. Then she said, "Okay, tell me everything." So I did. I told her about the meeting, the Instagram post, David, the comment with my name. When I finished, she shook her head slowly. "This is going to blow up." "I don't want it to," I said. "I just want my life back." She looked at me gently. "I know, but this isn't something you caused." That night I didn't go home. I couldn't face David. I didn't trust myself to stay calm. I stayed on my sister's couch and barely slept. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Amber smiling